2 p.m., that's in
6 minutes. And what happens if we don't become a fire hawk? Well, thanks for asking, Joy. I'll tell you.
Inside Out 2 brought old and new fans back into the popular Disney franchise. One of the best parts of Inside Out is the exploration of emotions and the nuanced way they can each impact someone. The stories revolving around Riley and her core emotions aren't afraid to explore some complicated topics like growing up and losing a sense of joy or feeling overrun by anxiety, to the point that it clouds your judgment and influences your actions. Throughout the sequel, the audience witnesses anxiety growing, becoming the primary emotion dictating Riley's life choices. While she intends to help Riley have a happy life in high school, her overbearing influence does more harm than good, leading Riley to disconnect from her other emotions entirely and experience her first anxiety attack. Such a profound and emotionally charged scene reminds the audience that too much of one emotion can be harmful, as can having a lack of them. A balance is necessary to help a person navigate their daily lives. In today's video, we'll discuss what could happen to Riley and her core emotions if they became corrupted or could no longer serve their purpose.
Riley, you okay?
During the original Inside Out, Riley struggles to keep smiling after her family's move to San Francisco. She's unhappy, rightfully so, but doesn't admit how much she misses her home, hockey team, and friends. Instead, she puts on a brave face because her parents expect her to maintain the same bubbly and goofy attitude from her childhood. She represses her sadness, preventing herself from mourning her childhood home, which results in building resentment, anger, disgust, and fear about her current situation. Most of all, she struggles to see the silver lining or experience genuine happiness regarding her situation. As the viewer, we witness why Riley makes these emotional decisions and how they impact her overall mental state. In her mind, joy and sadness are separated from headquarters, with Riley's core memories essential to powering her islands of personality and influencing her decisions. Away from headquarters and lost in Riley's mind, sadness and joy become incapable of reaching Riley, which prevents her from expressing their corresponding emotions for most of the film. Instead, she has to rely on her other emotions, such as anger, disgust, and fear, to help her cope with moving across the United States. She shuts down emotionally, with one of her most significant responses being an angry outburst when speaking with her childhood best friend, Meg. She also has outbursts when speaking with her parents, causing an argument at the dinner table. Eventually, without joy and sadness to help her cope, Riley becomes completely despondent, unable to connect with any of her remaining emotions, as the control panel goes dark, seemingly losing its power. Many fans believe that the scene represents Riley experiencing depression, an experience described in the earliest concepts as gloom, another emotion of Riley's who never made it into the final film.
We have no core memories. You want Riley to be happy? Let's get back to Minnesota and make more.
Losing a connection to her emotions when they can't perform their designated purpose would likely impact Riley in similar ways, with varying degrees. She wouldn't react appropriately to her environment and would shut down during stressful situations. If joy and sadness had never returned to headquarters to help Riley, she likely wouldn't have exited the bus, completing the entire journey to Minnesota, where she would have hopefully reconnected with her friends and family. It's also likely that her mental health would plummet, with examples of depression and anxiety ruling aspects of her life, as briefly explored throughout both films in the franchise. As in Inside Out, she may not enjoy things like jokes, games, or family time, preferring to isolate herself. However, the activities she once loved, such as hockey, may become routine chores that provide her with no fulfillment. She could also feel too much of one emotion, likely anxiety, as she's susceptible to the emotion in the sequel, which would make each day feel like a fight or flight situation. Instead of becoming apathetic without other emotions to help balance out or rationalize her nervous thoughts, she could instead overthink everything, exposing herself to extensive stress. There's a scene in the sequel when all hope seems lost and the core emotions can't find a way back to headquarters, where Joy makes a heartbreaking claim to the rest of her companions. She believes that growing up may mean that Riley needs her less, insinuating that joy and happiness aren't primary emotions for adults. While the line of dialogue likely reflects adults becoming so focused on their responsibilities that they may forget to sit back and enjoy life, it also seems like Joy felt defeated enough to give up her role as Riley's primary emotion, which may have had disastrous results.
Anxiety is right. Riley doesn't need us as much as she needs them.
While all emotions serve a purpose and need to work together for Riley's betterment, there's no denying that Joy is the center of her headquarters for a reason. Riley is inherently happy with an entire island of personality, dedicated to having fun, playing games, and telling jokes. If she lost her primary emotions, especially joy, she would likely lose touch with a significant part of herself. For example, without joy, no new memories would be made with joyful emotions, meaning there would be no new happy emotions to help grow and foster Riley's sense of self into something positive. Suppose an emotion fails to fulfill its role, especially in headquarters. In that case, it's more than likely that another emotion will step up to take its place, attempting to complete the same tasks despite having an entirely different function. For example, anger could try to help Riley have an easygoing conversation, but she could have an emotional outburst instead. If a single emotion becomes normal for someone, say they express happiness or sadness through anger, that emotion could dominate someone's headquarters, impacting their every decision. There may be an example of this phenomenon in the first film. Occasionally, the Inside Out franchise will give glimpses into the minds of other characters, showing how they behave and what they're thinking. The end credits of the original film took time to explore numerous background characters, including the employee at the pizza place and the countless stray animals living in San Francisco. One of the characters included the bus driver, who would have driven Riley to Minnesota had she not backed out at the last second.
Wait, stop! I want to get off!
In his scene, he's stuck within the overly populated city streets, dealing with a traffic jam. Within his mind, his 5 core emotions remain in headquarters. However, they're only recognized by their designated color because they've morphed to resemble anger, having the same stature and physical design as Riley's anger throughout the film. It's possible that the bus driver relied on anger so much to help him express his other emotions that they slowly morphed to become copies of him, making him the sole provider of the driver's needs. Riley could endure the same fate if she lost an emotion for an extended period. She was at risk of this situation happening in the sequel, as anxiety had the core 5 emotions forcefully removed, locking them away alongside Riley's deepest secrets. Without the help of new characters like Bluefy and Lance Slashblade, it's unlikely that Joy and the others would have escaped in a timely manner. However, their short time away from headquarters had disastrous results. Riley's entire life became overrun with anxiety, preventing her from sleeping, making good decisions, and properly caring for her needs. Riley also has her entire sense of self remodeled to represent anxiety, twisting her self-image from believing she is an excellent person to claiming she isn't good enough. Riley's beliefs, having the sole influence of her anxious thoughts and memories, likely represent what the bus driver felt daily, as anger solely controlled headquarters. Since anxiety already lost control once, spurring Riley into a panic attack, it seems likely that she was dangerously close to developing severe and life-altering anxiety. The sequel would likely have had a much darker ending if the other emotions failed to stop anxiety and rebuild Riley's sense of self.
I make mistakes. I'm mean. I'm a good friend. I'm a terrible friend. I'm strong. I need help sometimes.
Although Riley has lost touch with Joy and her other emotions twice now, she's always fortunate enough to re-establish their relationship with them at the end of each film. No matter their intention and purpose, Riley's emotions desire to help her in some way, and she feels obligated to help her throughout every situation, even if their input may not be what's best for her. So far, she's experienced what it's like to lose all of her core 5 emotions, rendering her incapable of experiencing genuine happiness during stressful moments or grieving something she's lost. She could find herself in a precarious situation if one of her emotions corrupted entirely, but that's a concept best explored in a future film.
Riley is acting so weird. Why is she acting so weird?
What do you expect? All the islands are down.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications to stay updated on our uploads.
Fun already! Oh, you lucky dog. You're reading these cool things. I gotta go work. Life is so unfair.